Improv Inside Out, the healing power of improv. I'm Diane Kettering, your improv host.
And I'm Katie Warzel, your mental health host.
And we are here with improviser Tom Bradshaw.
Hello.
Tom, you know what? I'm going to start right off, which I think is the very beginning. The birthday dinner and drinks.
Yeah.
Will you tell us all about that?
So it started out many years ago where I was doing the same thing for my birthday year after year, and I felt like I needed a change, and my brain is very opposite. It like works black and white often, and I was thinking, well, what's the opposite of hanging around with a lot of people that I know? It's hanging around with one person that I don't know.
Right. There you go.
That's true.
And so when I brought it up to my wife, I thought she was going to be like, no, you're going to get killed or kidnapped or something. But she was like, no, I think that would be great for you, because I've always liked meeting new people. I've always liked talking with strangers. Mm-hmm. And the first time I did it, it was a fascinating experience. And I asked her, like, if I were to do this again, like, what things do you have to say that would help people do it? You know, be more open to do it. She said, well, buying their meals. I was like, all right, from now on.
Her was your first meal?
Yeah.
So how do you go about finding a stranger who will go to dinner with you?
So I used to use Craigslist, but more people than not thought I wanted to have sex.
Right.
And so I stopped using that, and I started using Reddit, and there's a St. Louis subreddit, and there's a pretty good community there. Mm-hmm. And for the last several years, that's what I've used.
Mm-hmm. So what do you say on Reddit?
I say, this is what I've done. You can go to my site and you can read about past strangers. I will buy you all the drinks and dinner that you want. You can leave at any time. If you 5 minutes in, if you feel like this isn't for you, feel free to leave.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And there's never pressure to be friends or anything past it. Mm-hmm. And it usually lasts about 2 hours, and people just really open up to me.
Mm-hmm. I love this idea. So do you go to the same place each time, or do you let them choose? How does that go?
I usually try to pick a place geographically between us.
Okay.
Okay.
And has anyone ever left 5 minutes in?
No, I was stood up a couple of times.
Okay.
One time online because it was the pandemic and I had to find someone else. Mm-hmm. But it really didn't deter me.
Mm-hmm. Good for you. So then you had a dinner that changed your life.
Yeah. That was in, I think, 2016. And I don't think he'd mind me using his name. His name is Scott Gresham.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I met him at Llewellyn's in the Central West End. And then we walked around the corner to the Improv shop, and I got to see him perform. And I didn't understand what was going on at all. I'd never heard of improvisation. Mm-hmm. And all I knew is it wasn't for me. But it took 7 years for that seed to sprout.
Oh, it took that long.
Yeah.
I thought you went right away.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you decide 7 years later to try it?
Last year was a year, or 2023 was kind of a rough year for me socially between the pandemic and being a dad for 14 years and a family man, which I wouldn't change at all.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I kind of came out of the pandemic with not very many friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I needed something new and something that kind of scared me. And I thought I would take level 0 and it would be a crucible and I'd get through it and I'd be like, all right, that's it.
Mm-hmm. But it's addicting.
It is. Between Melanie, who's just a powerhouse.
Right,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the community that they build here, I really felt at home. Mm-hmm. And I was lucky enough that 4 of us went into level 1 together. And
from your level 0,
yeah.
Before the level 0, how many did you have in level 0?
I'd say between 13 and 16. I can't remember.
That's a good size class.
And the 4 of you stuck together to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, if I remember correctly, it was level 2?
Yes.
Where it really made a difference.
Yeah, level 2 is group mind. And I liked the vulnerability that they added onto from level 1, which is like a vulnerability circle and kind
Right.
of really getting to know each other. But getting to be weird with each other and play like kids really kind of changed the way that I looked at it. And in fact, between level 0 and level 1, the night before level 1 started, I dreamt that the first class was being out at recess.
It's very similar.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Fun. Very telling.
Yes. You explain, and I know what it is. I've done this, and it's a game changer. But explain the vulnerability circle.
So the wonderful teacher we had, Elena, she had us all sit in a circle, and one at a time we got up. It wasn't going in a row, just whoever was moved to get up. And you go to one person and you tell them one, doesn't have to be like a deep, dark secret, but
Right.
something that you feel vulnerable about.
It's a tough word.
And then you go to each person saying something different.
Right.
And then I didn't think it would take that long, but it took up over 2 hours, which was the entire class. And by the end, I just felt very warm inside, and I was ready to make a fool of myself with all of these people.
Yes, because everybody shared something. And I think when I did it here at the Improv shop, when I did it, it wasn't level 2, I don't think. But we had a group of at least a dozen. So you heard 12 different things from each person that they, felt they wanted to share or were vulnerable about. And that was powerful.
Yeah.
It was so powerful.
Yeah, there was a flurry of texts afterwards in the group chat, like thank you, and there were a lot of personal one-on-one texts.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I remember correctly too, you went on to do a twosy.
We are starting it right now. Brittany, who's been with me, we've been together since level 0 back in October of 2023. We just graduated this big team, and we connected over this past year, and we decided to do a twosy together.
All right. I have a question because I think we disagreed on this or weren't sure how we read it. Did this friendship develop out of a misunderstanding? Is that what it?
Misunderstanding.
I think you said I thought you said you had a misunderstanding with a friend and lost a friendship.
And I thought you said
Back
you had
in
a
20.
misunderstanding with someone, and it created a friendship.
Oh, sorry for the confusion.
That's
I'm
okay.
sure
it
it
was
wasn't
probably.
you.
Yeah, I don't think it was you.
In 2023, I had made a friend, and that friendship ended abruptly over a miscommunication. And that was one of the reasons why, another reason why I had wanted to start this.
Okay.
Right.
Got it. So you're just starting the twosy. I've been in one twosy. It's scary.
Yeah.
Because you're so responsible for those scenes. But, so tell us about Brittany.
So we connected from the start. We like the same kinds of music, same kinds of odd media, the same kind of sense of humor. She's been giving me suggestions of series to watch, so I've been watching those. And we just texted more and more, and I felt more and more comfortable around her. And I definitely feel scared about being in a twosy, but also I'm totally comfortable with her. I trust her completely.
That's huge. That's a big deal.
So tell us the name, if you feel comfortable, tell us the name of your twosy and where did the name come from?
The name of the twosy, Brittany thought of, it's Fever Dream.
Okay.
And it came from a collaboration we did for a themed fire pit party, and she picked out all of the videos, and I said, well, because you picked out the videos, you should pick out the name. And she came up with a title that had the phrase in it, Fever Dream. And we both wanted it to be kind of dreamlike and weird.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Very cool.
Did you tell me that you stuttered?
Yes.
But you don't.
It's interesting. I don't really know exactly what causes it sometimes. Sometimes it's just out of the blue. Sometimes pressure makes it happen. Sometimes pressure kind of lessens that. I don't really know. I started stuttering when I was a kid, and it kind of bothered me. And then in high school, it really bothered me. And then out of high school, I was just like tired of caring so much. So I started to care less.
All right, I want to ask you a question, and I know we don't even know each other.
Yeah.
But this is something I want to know, and please forgive me if it's by any means offensive. I always have to say that to a lot of people. But when someone is stuttering, what is comfortable for you for the other person to react? Is it best for them to be patient, or what's comfortable for someone who stutters?
I can only speak to me personally, and that is just being patient and waiting for the words to come out.
Yeah.
I know that some other people who stutter also have to deal with people who know that they stutter kind of trying to finish their sentences and stuff. And I can see how that would be very troublesome, and like it would feel bad if it was happening to me.
Right.
Okay.
I've always wondered. It's like, am
That's
I
a
making
great
them
question.
uncomfortable by just waiting for them to finish their sentence? Because I think that's what they want to do. That's what I think I would want to do. It's like, because you may not know how I'm going to end this sentence.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
So, okay. Well, thank you for answering that, and thank you for letting me ask it. I
Sure.
appreciate it.
I'm very open about it. I like people asking me about it. The people that have asked me the most about it are usually kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's good.
And they're braver.
They are. They are. So, do you? We didn't play our improv game yet.
Oh, that's right.
So you had a game that Diane has not played before, which I think is awesome. So would you, you mentioned, I think it was called Elevator.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It
Would
is.
you tell us about the game and how to play it?
Can you play with
Instruct
three
us.
people?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So, and then we would like to play around.
All right.
That's okay.
So our teammate and friendo Catherine brought this game in.
Okay.
And so it could even be played with two people, but 3 people is great. The more people, the more difficult it gets, because one person says a word, and then going clockwise, the first word that comes to the next person's mind, they say. And then I go off of, that person, and it keeps, and you go around 3 times. So you're going like up in ideas, and then after 3 times, you go back down the opposite way and try to remember what we said going backwards.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
All right, let's fail at this
Right.
in a big way.
That's what I was thinking.
No, we're going to do great. We're all going to
yeah.
do great. Will you start us off?
That's right.
And if clockwise would be me then, right? After you?
Yeah.
Let's do it that way.
Coat hanger.
Oh, goodness. I'm already stressed out.
Yeah, because you took my turn.
Sorry.
And if you think coat hanger, I know I'm going to fail. Okay, I'm sorry. Can we start all over again?
Totally.
I'm sorry, Katie messes up.
This happens a lot whenever we do it. We could just stop immediately.
Right.
Yes, wonderful. Go ahead.
All right. Brick.
House.
Chimney.
Smoke.
Cigarette.
Cancer.
Lung.
Breathe.
Air.
Oxygen.
Oprah.
Book.
Word. Book.
Oprah. Oh, book.
Oprah.
Oprah.
Oh, yeah.
Oxygen.
Cancer.
No.
Was it
Oxygen.
Because I
Air.
said breathe.
lung?
Yes, lung.
Okay.
Cancer was here.
Smoke or cigarette.
Cigarette.
Smoke.
Chimney.
House.
Brick.
That is a fun game.
It is.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too. Oh, I'm going to play that sometime. I'm
And-
going to
and-
steal that.
And the way that Catherine taught us is that going backwards, the person who originally said the word doesn't speak, and the other people are responsible for remembering. But that's a whole other
Oh, wow.
layer.
So if she
Okay.
said air, and I said breathe, no, I said lungs, and she said air, she wouldn't say anything, and then we would say air?
When we were going in reverse, she would withhold saying air, and we would try to remember what she said.
Okay.
And we both try to say it at the same time?
Not necessarily.
Okay. I kind of like that. There's a little less pressure.
Yeah.
Because you've got friends to help you remember. It's a collective mind instead of
Yeah.
so just one person. I like that.
Well, you take over your I'm going to do this.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, we'll snuggle a little bit. So first of all, I want to commend you on your writing. We try not to talk too much before the interview because we like to save all the good stuff for the interview. And you said that you only have written really for your birthday stranger.
Yeah.
I'm shocked to hear that because you are so articulate in communication. I don't know. I know I communicate. I'm better communicating in writing. Do you feel like you are as articulate on the spot, like with your improv, as you are in writing? Because I really, really thoroughly enjoyed your writing.
Oh, well, thank you. I give a lot of credit to my wife, who is wonderful with grammar and stuff. She's really rubbed off on me. During improv, like, I fumble. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. Writing, like you said, like, I have time to, like, write out what I want, and then I just go over and over and over and over until I feel like it's concise, because I can be very verbose and then trying to rein it in.
Yeah.
Well, it was lovely. It
Thank
was
you.
lovely. If you ever, I would be a follower. I would be a subscriber. So I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
So I also really appreciated how well you articulate your emotional connection to improv and what a change that's made in your life. So I've got some almost quotes from things that you wrote. You said...
You're so great at research.
Oh, okay. So you said it gave you the confidence to stay in touch with your emotions. And I really appreciated that with, I don't know if you knew this or not, I'm a therapist. And so what I deal with a lot is people wanting to run away from their emotions. So I thought it was great that you were able to articulate your comfort level and actually hanging in there with the emotion opposed to escaping. Can you give us an example of that for you?
Yeah, so I've been meditating for since 2011.
Okay.
And I actually lead meditation, and I teach it, so that's helped me kind of be mindful. And improv was like a whole other layer to that, because not only are you mindful of it, but like you can like hold it and see its value and use it
Absolutely.
just in real time.
Absolutely. Can you give us an example of a time on stage when that was helpful for you, or when you were able to utilize that?
I can tell you when it clicked for me.
Okay, that'd be great.
And that was when, we were told to pick an emotion. And so for a long time I was like, I want to go out there and be happy, or I'd get out there and just pick something. But at some point I was like, why not put myself in the shoes of that person and react honestly as if I was in that position. So if that would make me sad, then I'm going to be sad from my heart.
Right.
And instead of like choosing to be sad, like the sadness chose me because like I'm sad because of that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic. You alluded to several times throughout your essay about your birthday stranger and in the pre-interview questions that improv had been a way for you to express your emotions, kind of an outlet for emotional expression.
Yeah.
Can you tell me one of the funnest experiences you've had where you were able to kind of emote, show those, where it was a release for you?
Yeah. So I think this kind of goes back to that birthday stranger, Scott, and what he said about how you can be as intense in an emotion as you want to be, and not have real life repercussions. So like once I got a hold of that, like I can be as angry as I want to on stage, yell and scream, things that I can't do, that I wouldn't want to do necessarily with like my wife and son.
Right.
But if I did it with them, there'd be a lot of apologies and stuff that would need to happen. But here, it can just come out, and it's very cathartic.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you have a time? Can you tell us about a time when this was the case for you? Not, it doesn't have to be anger, but
Yeah.
a specific example.
I think I would have to say being happy, because it's hard for me in real life to express happiness. I think I'm a little kind of subdued
Okay.
in that way. And there was a time where I can't remember who it was with, but I felt happy about what was going on and happy about the character that they were playing. And it just felt fun to be like a kid again and hop around and clench my heart. Yeah.
Ah, good. That is fun. That is fun.
Tom, I'm sorry. I'm gonna. What do you do for a living?
I'm a nanny.
Oh, are you really? I would love to have you for a nanny. So, do you also get to keep your son when you do that too?
Yeah, and now he can take care of himself. But I've had several charges, and right now I've got a little girl who's getting close to, I think, 1.5 years old.
Aw, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Honestly, fun.
I was going to ask you too. Are you done with your questions? I'll ask mine at the end. Go ahead.
Well, I can keep going. I can go for a long time.
She really liked what you had to say.
I did. Well, I did because we don't find many people, like, don't even express these things as well as you did. And I feel like I talk about it all day, every day. But I feel like you really understand the connection between improv and mental health and how it utilizes the natural functioning of our brain to express and heal, right? Heal our mindset and our, I guess, emotional selves. You said one thing you said actually that, but you said it more eloquently. You said, we value what occurs naturally in our brain. And you just don't see that. People are, I guess, outside of improv. Right. One of the first things you learn, I think, in improv is that, the things that you think are so weird in your brain, they're not really that weird. Everyone else has them as well, right? Yeah. And improv provides a place for that weird to come out, right? And it's okay, right? It's acceptable, and it's actually even better, right? If the weirder, the better. And I loved how you mentioned that, and you said, and you mentioned this just a couple of minutes ago as well, what we feel as humans has a lot of worth. Can you give us an example? And you've kind of already done this a little bit, but can you give us a time when that really, really hit home for you? Like maybe when you were able to use an experience from home or you know what I mean, from real life and bring it to the stage.
I don't know if I can bring a specific time, but to reiterate, it's like bringing those emotions that you feel in real life and expressing them honestly here is just a huge gift.
Absolutely. Do you find that people on the improv stage in general are more in touch with, I guess, a variety of emotions and able to identify those and utilize those more than someone you might know off the stage or out of improv?
Yeah. I can say for my class and team, definitely. Yeah. And I can see how it would be too scary for people who aren't familiar with improv to come in and be like, oh, I have to express emotions in front of other
Right,
people.
right.
No.
Right.
Right. What? Okay, so I have 2 more emotional questions. Okay, that
Okay.
could be your turn. Okay. So, what is your favorite emotion, like that we normally wouldn't express, like off the stage? Is there one emotion that you're like, oh, this is kind of fun, like that you're discovering, or that's kind of fun to act out and express?
The one that comes easiest to me is anger.
Okay. Okay.
And it's interesting because people who know me and meet me wouldn't say that I'm an angry person. I'm sure there's anger, that I talk about when I go to therapy. But it's fun to like get that out.
Right. Right.
And
That's fantastic.
I'm definitely working on expressing happiness and joy better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in everyday life, I'm just not that exuberant or enthusiastic. So I'm trying to pull it out here so I can also heighten it in my real life to let people who make me happy know it, more
Right.
and
Absolutely.
better.
Absolutely.
It's funny that you say that because when I read your, answers in your essay, it's like, this is a person who has self-happiness. It's like, this is a happy guy. And this is a guy who's really in tune with the feelings and who he is. So it's funny that you can't express it, but yet it seems like you feel it.
Yeah.
I do, and I really credit, in addition to the people who are in my life that I love, that I credit meditation and I credit improv so much for showing me that expressing emotions in this way can be an art. You can do it with friends, and it's really been good for me.
That's fantastic. Okay, so my last question, and it's coming and going from my mind, but I'm going to try to capture it and say it with succinctly. So going back to the first thing that I mentioned, it gave you confidence to stay in touch with your emotions. What is it that brings the confidence, do you think? What is it about improv that allows you to be confident in the expression?
Because I can feel it naturally as myself in a character, in a scene, and as it's coming out, it's not as bad as it feels on the inside. If I'm angry, it feels kind of negative, but expressing it feels good.
Okay.
And kind of with the other emotions, that to be able to feel it, like the bubbliness of being happy and then letting that out, or like the shrinking of being sad,
Okay.
and also the shrinking of being scared.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
So I don't even know. I think we kind of alluded to this, but we're at the improv shop right now. We're actually in the green room. And this is like the get ready stage right next door, which is, I was showing Katie that, and I'm like, this is where all the feelings happen, where you're just gasping. I'm going to go on. But have you done any other improv besides here at the improv shop?
No.
And you said you're starting the Tuesday.
Yes.
So once you do that, do you think there's another way, or are you going to try to grow that? How are you going to keep, because you're graduating from the improv shop, how are you going to keep improv in your life?
Well, so our cohort are staying together as one big team. We've got 14 people on our team.
Wow.
And I think it's going to house several smaller teams. And Catherine, who was our friendo, she booked us our first show, I think back in Teams Level 1, so months ago, because she's been through it, so she knew how to do it. And I think it was a good nudge to kind of keep us together. And so we all plan on performing as a team. People are taking care of calendars and bookings. And another one of our teammates, Dave, so our big team name is Parking Lot. And he had the idea of having a set called Parking Spaces. So it would be a whole 90-minute thing that we could perform as one large team, but then also showcase some of the smaller teams within our team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So I plan on doing this for the foreseeable future. It's a benefit to me. I've made some really close friends.
Absolutely.
It
That's
sounds
great.
like it. I had another question and it went away.
Oh.
But-
I talk too much.
No, not at all. Not
I
at
know.
all.
I know it's a really great question too, but I can't think of what it is. But I do appreciate your time, and I'm glad you came out here.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Improv Shop's been mentioned a bazillion times on our podcast. So, thanks for meeting us out here, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us. And until next time, thanks for joining us on Improv Inside Out: The Healing Power of Improv. Boom.
If you would like to be a guest on our show, please contact us at improvinsideout.com.
Oh, what was the question? Oh, I was going to have you explain what a friendo was.
Okay.
That's it.
A friendo
We can
is
do it again. We can do it now. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
A friendo is someone who's been through the program once and opts to take all the classes again, not as like a teacher's assistant or anything, for free, as long as they collect people's numbers and email addresses and kind of get conversations started, like who's going to go see a show, like who can't make it to class, and kind of help build a community.
Okay.
Great. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was because didn't you say that word with the name Catherine lots of times? So I thought that was her last name.
Calvin friendo.
I'm like, what a neat name. It's like it's friend built in. How fortunate is she? I'm like, wow. I hope she really is it.
Because it's so cool.
It's like, it sounds like she really is a good friend, and it's right there in her name.
Her name dictates that she has to be a good friend.
Man, yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I'm disappointed for
Here
Catherine.
that same last name. This is Mike Ofrendo.